Hello, guys. Today we're making a new episode, another episode of An Alternative of Humanity slash Ah. Well, today we're going to focus on other things except wars, like economy, because obvious reasons, like the tariff war that's happening right now between the US and China. But, anyways, well, as you can see, I updated a few areas with more provinces because of development and just population in general. I only put them in the areas that started humanity, like in the Yellow River and in the Indus Valley and Persia. Also, a bit more in Sri Lanka, and also more in Francia, what was Francia, and where was Brisk, and also where that the Northern African nation came in. Also, Portugal and Galicia are more, and are more like I don't know, the name provincialized, and what was Iberia is like already here. I just didn't add a lot of population here. I also added population in the area access to the sea, of course, and also in Babylon because it was like one of the first nations. Then I also added in Egypt, which was I think the fifth or was seventh nation in history. As you can see, there's a lot of population around the Nile. There's a lot here next to the Mediterranean, and interestingly, there's more population in all of the Mediterranean Empire than in, let's say, the Mongols. Now, coming back to our world, the Meso-Francian relations are pretty horrible. Not horrible, but they're pretty bad now. There's a trade war. Not a trade, yeah, kind of like a trade war. So these people, the Mediterranean people, generally trade with Portugal, but France wants to trade with Portugal and Ireland. Well, I want to trade more with Germania and the how do I call it? With the Alpine Empire. But, anyways, after this, there's a bit of a stock market crash. Not here, in the whole world. And this is going to cause millions and millions of deaths. And now, Novgorod is having a lot of rise of nationalism and fascism, also Nazism. There's also a big hate towards the Mediterranean Empire here in the Balkans, here in Egypt, here in Libya, what was the Northern African Empire, and also the Anatolians. Also, there's a lot of hate towards the Portuguese monarchy here in the colonies because they're getting too big and they're not even doing anything that is pretty good. Also, there are many fascist revolts here in a changed Brazil because they took away our power. They took away our Zuko here. They took away their whole power and what was supposed to make people be afraid of them. But now they're just this random nation that once was pretty bad. People don't like that. People want to be bad. So there's going to be many revolts here. Also many fascist revolts here for a unification again because, like, I don't even need to explain. Also, many separatist revolts over here because this nation has changed, and is not the old Uruguay. And also, the Mapuches are weak as hell, so they can be attacked and eaten whenever anyone wants, literally. The Falklands are still getting weak, but it's not as if they're going to collapse at any moment. Still, it's a bit worrying to just ignore the situation. Here in China, the population centers are pretty big, and there's even going to be more population around here and here in Hainan, but it's not as if the world is gonna look at them again. It's not as if people are going to care about them again, sadly. Happily too. Korea has increased by a lot the population of the Yellow River. Not them. It was actually the start of humanity, so it is full of population. Japan is still pretty weak, except the Korean Japan, which they made many campaigns for popularization and those things. Here in Britain, Scotland and Cornwall are severing ties. One is going to the Mediterranean Empire, and another is going to the Romancian Empire. So they're going to make a new alliance. This is going to be the dawn of alliances and the end of the Red Alliance. At least, actually, the end of G4, kinda. Now it's G3. The Global 3. Kinda. This nation is poor as hell. This nation is still trying to find their identity. Identity crisis be wild. And so, they're going to create... There's going to be a new alliance between the Mediterranean Empire. No, I think we should just make the Scottish join the alliance, and the Francians are going to create a new alliance, which is like, and they're going to make a new alliance with their happy allies. Very happy, yeah. Wait, what's the opposite of red? No, it's cyan. Oh, cyan is already... Anyways. Okay. Anyways. With the separation, there are going to be a few nations who are going to join. Cornwall, Ireland, and Poland. Then there's also going to be India over here, who wants to stay with the Francians because of the mesocollapse. But Sri Lanka and central India want to be with the Mediterranean Empire. This is going to cause a rift in between the world, and this is going to make the Africans think about making a new organization. The Pentagon Alliance. The Orange Pentagons. What? Yeah, the Orange Pentagons. They're going to be an organization for neutrality and peace around the old Brown Empire nations. Remember that Mongolian Empire nation? Yeah. Like that. And also, there's going to be a new block here, which is the Amazonian block. But this is going to be more official later. But still, we're going to call it the Green pentagons. Oh, this is, oops. Oh, this is going to be the same color as the other nation over here. Whoops. Anyways, there's going to be here too, and here. Oh yeah, and the fascist union does not exist anymore. So, ignore that. I don't think there's any fascist members anymore. Yeah, there's no more fascist members. Anyways, Poland is going to make an ally with Francia, and the Mediterranean Empire is going to expand around the world, but they're still not in China. The France's have already made better relations, but not yet. Korea is going to join, northern Japan too, together with Hainan. There's also going to be the Tibetan nation leaving the Neutrality Pact, and so the Purple China, Mongolia, and this nation are not forced, but they leave, and the alliance is sadly disbanded. Then we're going to see the expansion of the Francian alliance. Oops. We're going to see the expansion of the Francian alliance in between the Taiwanese, the Red Nation that was supposed to be all unified, and this Green Nation over here that I completely forgot the name. Then Persia is going to make a new alliance, which is kind of like an HRE, but not the one that gives you depression. It's actually a normal HRE. Oops. So then they're going to make all of these nations join for a unification plan, and also an anti-Indian expansion, because this crap is being too much. Stop. Then the Siberians are going to make a union. Siberia is going to unionize against the Mongolians. Oops. Whoa, that's a big Russia. Whoa, that's a really big Russia. Wow. Well, ignore that. That was too big. Let's just add him for now. And their colony, which still exists. I don't know how. Siberia still has Alaska. Well, not for long, of course. They're having an economic recession, a large one. Anyways, the revolts become true in Egypt, and oh my goodness, I'm going to have to open a new. Wait. Holy crap, that's. Oh yeah, that's Siberia. This makes me remember a lot of stuff. Like, I think there weren't even provinces. And look at Korea. Korea got darker. I don't know why Korea got darker. I think it was just a return to its old. I don't know. Oh yeah, and Hokkaido and Sakhalin that were conquered by northern Japan. And also that Green Nation. And also the colony of Hainan, which Hainan was a big empire. Holy crap. And also Mesopotamia, that was already big. This is the second map. But anyways. Wait, what? This was when Greece didn't exist anymore? This was when Greece was taken. I don't even remember when that happened. Anyways. There's going to be a few revolts around here. Around the delta, the river delta. Delta. I can't speak. They're going to expand around here, and around the Nile, of course. And after that, there's going to be a lot of these, a lot of Anatolian revolts around the old capital. Also, a few Briscian rebellions around here, the old capital. And look who's helping. The nation which is supposed to be the UN. Strange. Then there's also what was another nation that wants to revolt? The Spaniards. The Spaniards are going to revolt here in Portugal, but they're also going to expand here in Spain, kinda. And they're also going to expand into my nation, into my pretty nation, which is almost collapsing now. There's also many Babylonian revolts around here, around the old capital. Wait, let me just... Yeah, that's better. Anyways, there are going to be many Babylonian revolts, many Egyptian revolts, and we just need another one to cause more fire. The Northern African nation, which is actually supposed to stay... What was the old capital? It was... Wait. It was over here. It was next to that bulge. Oh, it's this city. Wait a second. I'm going to make them to this city then. They're now more like wanting to be a Muslim empire because there's a religion that is starting to spread around here, which is not anymore because of borders and stuff. Oh. Because of borders and stuff. But there's, this new religion is going to expand in the whole Mediterranean Empire and also around here. Like, it's going to start around here in Morocco. It's going to expand. Let me just make this 100. Let me just make this 50. They're going to expand. They're going to cause more people to want to, like, convert. And now in the middle of nowhere, there's a large religion that is completely opposed to the Mediterranean religion, which is pretty crappy, in my opinion, which is pretty horrible. The Egyptian religion is getting smaller. It's getting less popular. And anyways, they're going to expand to this northern religion, that old religion over there. They're also going to convert many people around here and many people around over here. And now it's basically Islam 2.0. Also, the Saharan religion is going to be pretty big around the other parts down south of the Mediterranean Empire. They're going to expand around here. And they're going to completely take everything from the Gold Coast and also the Portuguese capital, which is now Saharan. Then there's also the same Anarchan religion, which is now around all of this and this. And there's also another religion which is the Persians, the Persian religion, which is going to start expanding more around here, trying to reform their old empire. The Tibetan religion completely collapsed here for obvious reasons. And now they're expanding across their actual territory and a bit more than that. There's also the Yellow River religion, which is this color. They're going to be around the Yellow River and its old nation. And it's also going to be in the large population centers around here. And Hainan can't do anything about it. It's going to become a new Chinese religion. The Koreans are starting to make more influence around their neighbors because they're poor. Wow, why did I just say that as if it was the most normal thing ever? Also, Japan has unified in religion and are even expanding around here. And they're expanding it along the Pacific. I don't know why I didn't talk about the Pacific to y'all, but basically the Pacific is international territory. They're considered to be sacred territory because Polynesians. Anyways, coming back to our normal Mediterranean and suffering map. Well, the Mediterranean is suffering, and they just lost a lot of population centers. And they stop around here because they're like, look, if you grant us independence, we're going to get all of this, but we're not going to invade you again. You also have to give this to Spain because now they're allies. Also, while everyone is still trying to give help, these rebellions are actually being aided by someone. And the Mediterraneans, after some time, notice that they're being aided by the French. They're being aided by the French, exactly. So what will happen? Remember this nation? Well, yeah, it's going to declare independence. It was around here, wasn't it? Wait. Let me just copy paste that. Yep, it was around here. They declare independence. This disconnects the Romancian territories from here, causing the rest to declare independence and create the large Rhine. Then, oops, I made too much. The Netherlandic colony, Netherlandic puppet does not count as part of this. But anyways, there's another one. There's another member. I think they're only in map 1. I got this from map 2. I need map 1. Whoa, what? What? Oh! This was that brown nation that was actually fascist. Nationalist. And also the Danube Empire collapsed. It's not here. Talking about the Danube Republic, that I don't remember the color, they're going to declare independence over here. Let me just see if... Okay, after some time of looking around my archives to look for the start of humanity, I found the Peru Empire, the Three Francias, the Danube Empire that I was looking for, the Kushites, and the Danube Empire at its peak. all of this in episode 0, as you can see and as you can see at the top. Well, now that we have all of our info, we can go back here and we can just make new nations, of course. Wait, what was it? It was, whoa, that was ginormous. It went around until here. Jeez Louise. I think it's supposed to be that large. Okay, anyways, they're going to expand around here. I feel happy for the Danube Empire being back. I always liked the Danube Empire a little bit. It was like one of my favorite nations until I started thinking about the Mediterranean Empire ideas. And I also like very much the Spanish. I just don't appreciate that much because they don't do much. The Mongols, it gives me a bit of agony, like seeing that they're doing nothing. Anyways, the Egyptians are able to get more territory, and then you're going to start thinking, what the hell is happening with me then, that I'm not doing anything? Basically, my people are all wanting independence too. Like, people from my nation, from what I was, what I used to be. Oh, and what the hell? The Saharan Empire is just a recreation of Kush. The more you know, the more you know. Well, Kush is now independent, and they're going to go around the Nile too. No, this is not like the past, which it was like that it was pretty bad. Like, this was an invasion. No, I don't do that anymore. It's not that bad now. I'm not desperate. Well, now the Kushites have conquered a lot of territories, have now split my armies in half and taken them down, and now I'm crying. No, not in real life, in game, like in RPG. I don't want to lose my large empire, but it's necessary. Sadly, very necessary. Now, there's not going to be just old nations coming back. There's also going to be new nations. Like the Suez. The Suez over here. Not the Suez, this peninsula, Sinai. This is Sinai. And also the Levant. Like, not only this, like, all of this is the Levant now. Then, what about this? This is supposed to be like the Ottomans. Like the Ottoman. I don't remember that much. The Danubians are going to expand around here. The Francians are pretty happy because of it, and they're like, I'm going to be glad to recreate the Danube Empire with you. Then they're, of course, going to go around the Danube Empire, and then they start sparking revolts around the Danube. That means the Austrians, the Alpines, are pretty crappy, or pretty crapped. And now look at this. Look at this. Also, there's a new religion, not a new religion, a new rebellion in France, which is northern France, like that one starter nation. Yeah, he's back. Also, the shitty big Peru. Remember the Peru? Yeah, they have now a regime around here. Objective: recreate the Peruvian Empire. The Peruans, I think. The Peruvian Empire. I think they expanded more around here, and they got all of this. But let's just ignore that. Also, remember that Orange Nation? Yeah, they're back. They're kind of back. They want to keep expanding, of course. They want to recreate themselves. And also, the Mexicans have officially started losing territory to the cartel. Yeah, the cartel exists, okay? And they're going to start here in this main city. The cartel declares independence over here. Don't say that it's the terrorist organization. They're more organized. They're more like Gus Fring and its empire. Yeah. And no one knows the leader of this. No one knows the leader of the cartel. And no one knows who is aiding them because they're being aided too. But everyone is looking at this little guy. Because obvious reasons, they just did that like 5 years ago. And also, the Anatolians have secured this territory over here, their old territories, and they have also secured this territory around here. Remember when the Babylonian Empire was an empire like Babylon and this one province too? And then I think, yeah, and then the Persians, I think they conquered it, and then when they were collapsing, the Anatolians took it away. Yeah. Babylon was big, not small. Now it's this size, and it's not supposed to exist anymore, anyways. Well, Cyprus is going to form their own nation, which is pretty sad. Not sad. I'm pretty glad for it. Wait, why am I seeing this? I'm the leader of this nation. I'm not supposed to like it. But, like, if they all declare independence, I get small, I get forgotten, and I can be able to reconstruct and get larger again. Also, Greece. I don't have a map of Greece. Oh, I do. I do have Greece. Greece is gonna reform from the ashes of their empire. Where was their capital? Oh, their capital was over there. Where's that? I don't think there's even. I think there's no main city for that. Why did I just put the capital in it? Why didn't I just... Oh, maybe it was when the city was destroyed because of the Dark Ages. Yeah, there was a period of the Dark Ages when... Yes, they're taking it back. When the whole world had suffered a great plague, at least all of this. suffered the Great Plague and they lost a lot of people and stuff, and yeah, it was painful, sad. The Iberians are going to take the puppet, and after many and many and many tries, finally they get this part of Iberia. They wanted their puppet back, okay? Their starting area back, okay? Oh yeah, and there's also where I thought I had the like sorry for the bad word. Uh that it was pretty bad. Like this was an invasion. No, I okay, I just deleted the map, but anyways, here's wait, no, here's the road map of Portugal, and holy crap, they're anyways. Let's just add in well, there's a massive revolt around here in Portugal and Spain, recreating that nation that they decided to unify with the Spaniards, but they don't want it anymore. Ignore the contract, ignore the contract. Also, the Northern Africans are able to get this territory. Now they're colonizing Europe, basically. And now, finally, the Northern African nation declares independence. Not declares independence, are granted independence from the Mediterranean Empire. This is a very big thing. You know why? Because that means they're going to grant independence for other nations too. And they do that. They grant independence for the Egyptians, for the Kushites. They also granted independence for Anatolia, which is more friendlier than I thought, than I expected. I expected it to be more painful, more sad, but no. They're actually like, we were glad to have you as our ally. Also, the Danube Empire is able to declare independence from the Mediterranean Empire. Brisk is able to declare independence from the Mediterranean Empire, but it's more like they're more like New Italy. Yeah, they're more like New Italy. Then they say that they have to grant independence for a few nations like Venice and other nations like Bulgaria. Bulgaria over here. Yeah, Bulgaria. Also, grant independence to the Serbs. The Serbs over here. And also, they have to grant independence to anything that at least used to exist around here. France is forced to do the same. They have to grant independence to the Netherlands, make them an independent nation again. And then they have to destroy their drug empire and their mafia. Yeah, they have to destroy their mafia. Oops. Ah, they have to destroy their mafia. So now this does not exist anymore. The Francian mafia now is non-existent, not even on the old colonies. Why? Because this was supposed to be from the this was created by the king of the empire. Also, now, is there any other? I think there is another nation that. Oh, it was this nation over here that was conquered and puppeted. Yeah, that was sad. Pretty rough, buddy. That's rough. Well, they're also going to declare independence. They're going to declare independence from the Francians. From the Francians. And now they're not puppeted. I think there are no other puppets in the world anymore. Are there any puppets? Oh, yeah. There's a lot of puppets. There's also... There's no other puppets anymore. Well, I think this is the rise of the dead. Literally, this is the rise of the dead. But I don't know what we should do with this area. This large area. Well, I now know what to do. No, there was no cut, no anything. Just an idea, which is make this a new nation. Like, not this, like, create a new nation. Or at least 5 new ones. We have the coastal Union, also called Carthage 2.0, or the new, or basically just Carthage, but in Libya. Then there's another nation, which is the Neo-Saharans, which is just a desert empire. And also, good job, here's a collapse you guys wanted. The Portuguese now don't exist anymore. They still exist, but their empire in Africa doesn't exist anymore. Oops. The first nation to declare independence was here. The second nation to declare independence is the capital colony. The capital, of course. Then there's the green nation around here, around all of this. And then there's also this large Saharan Empire, which is supposed to be the Neo-Saharans. Yeah. And then this just goes to the Neo-Saharans. Now there are 3 Saharan nations. Also, the old Saharan Empire is able to get this. Because they used to be big as hell, but now they're just that. Also, for the moon, oh yeah, we have to change the color. Let's change the color of the Mediterranean Republic. Now, it's just the Mediterranean Republic. It's nothing. And what about this? This is just going to be an independent nation, like the remnants. But now, about the moon. There's going to be another nation that's going to go to the moon, which is the Danubian Empire. The Danubian Empire is able to get a lot of things now that they're actually good, they're actually strong. And that's the first thing that they do. Wait, what's that colony over here? That colony over here is supposed to be... Is that a moon nation? Don't tell me that's a moon nation. Oh, that's the Brazilians. Yeah, Brazil's here. Well, the Brazilian colony is going to expand. Oh, wait, I got the PNG. Wait, no, wait. Okay, I got the moon. And what was I going to do anyways? The Danubians get this and the... What was the other nation that I put in here? I really forgot. Like, really. It was... Holy crap, I don't remember. I don't know why I forgot. It was like 3 seconds. That was like 3 seconds ago. It's... I forgot. It's a new nation, or it was an old one. I think it was an old one. Holy frick, I forgot. I think it was the Spaniards. Talking about the Spaniards, they got this intelligence. Anyways, the Spaniards now are here. They exist. What? Let's just make this global, because it's supposed to be global. Yeah, that's it. Well, the Spaniards expand their colonies, and also the Brazilians expand their colonies. And I think now it's 2000. Oh yeah, and India also creates a new colony. And also, India expands their own colony. I think we need to add... Oh, sorry. I think we need to add... What nation do we... I think Korea. Korea is now, like, one of the strongest nations, so they're probably going to get something, at least. Wait, what? Wait, what? That's the color of Korea? No way, that's the actual color of Korea. Anyways, they're going to expand around here. And after some time, some Iberians, they fled their nation. They fled their colony because they were exiled. And so they accidentally create the first moon nation around here. And there's also the... What should I add here? Because now the strongest nations are... now the Mediterranean Republic is not the strongest nation, not even the largest. I think a nation that would be able to go to space now is possibly the Japanese, the northern Japanese nation that is supposed to be from Gemini. They're going to fall over here, and that's it. Well, we have the map of the moon. So, yeah, we have also just come back to our history, and we just came back to what was our history. And also, we went and saw the empires, like the Danubian Empire. It just, now at its peak, it's actually at its peak. It's not supposed to be this size, it's supposed to be smaller. Like only here and here and here, and then they're expanding. But no. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Seeing finally my collapse and my friend's collapse. So, goodbye. Oh yeah, before I leave. Portugal is still having rebellions over here. And the Alps are still having rebellions. They did not give independence to them because that would just give independence to this nation too. Now am I done? Yeah. Well, goodbye. After this, I'm just going to update the province map. Again, bye.